Hello everybody and welcome back to another video for the game World of Warships Legends. Today we're going to be back in the Tier 6 Premium British Battleship, the Duke of York. Now just before we get into the video, we're going to quickly go over ship's armour and stats and whatnot. For our command, we are using Andrew Cunningham with Flammable Cannoneer, Gyrating Drill Bits, Marksmanship, and we are using Emergency Specialist. I do recommend you take Reaching Out instead. For our inspirations, we are using Andrew Cunningham and Angela Jarnhorst. For our upgrades, this is just the standard of Tier 6 battleships here. We've got aiming systems, propulsion mod, and of course concealment mod here. Now, Duke of York is it's a premium King George V. You can probably gather that yourself. But what makes it different from the King George V is predominantly both the sonar it gets instead of a plane and the armour piercing. The Duke of York's armour piercing is better than King George V's. It most certainly gets better pen angles. It's get improved pen angles like the early American ships do. Now, for our hit points, we have 60,500, nothing too special there, and torpedo damage reduction of 22%. We have a 17.2 kilometer range, which for this build, using Emergency Specialist isn't very good. You can I think you can get it out to about 17.6-ish, normally. Of course, these turrets are square, so it's just flat surface, so they do get taken out a lot, just in case you aren't aware already. Now, you do have 14-inch guns, so you're not going to be overmatching pretty much anything except some cruisers. So just bear that in mind. Your air is decent, it's better than King George V, so there's nothing really to write home about in the manoeuvrability, and your concealment's, yeah, it's alright, I guess. Now, in terms of the armour, Duke of York and her sister ship, King George V, well, it's not great. Your bow is like any other battleship at this tier 25, so, well, 26. You're going to be overmatched a lot by pretty much everything. And so is your upper deck. So even if you are angled here, you can get hit in the upper deck bit, and you still take a lot of damage. But your belt is 15 inches thick, which is actually pretty good for this tier. In fact, I think it's the thickest of this tier, if I'm not mistaken. So you can bounce things when you're angled correctly, and as long as you are both lucky and the enemy is not great. Pretty much the only upside, or only one of two upsides of the armour here, is that your citadel's completely just far below the waterline, so you're just never going to really get citadeled. The only time it can happen is at extremely long range, or, well, wait, I guess a few months ago when they raised the citadel for no explicable reason. Now, nothing to really write home about your heel here. It's not exactly super like the other British shields at this tier, like Nelson's. Your sonar isn't the best. It's got a 4.2 kilometer range, which is average, and it lasts 94 seconds, which is also average, and it's kind of just a bog standard sonar, not really the sonar you get on the British destroyers, which have an insanely long duration. It's like 3 minutes. So with that out of the way, let's get on to the actual gameplay. Now, for our first game here, we are on the map Riposte. I think that's how you say it. Sometimes I semi-jokingly call it Riposte. We're top tier on this game, it's down tier, and we're in a division. First time division on this channel. We've got our good buddy, old pal, YT BrandonABC in this game. The link to his channel will be in the description, so please check him out if you have the time. He does a bunch of videos on, what's mainly codes and stuff. So, no carriers, 3 destroyers a team. Pretty much a balanced game, I guess you could say. There is 1 cruiser on each team, so there are typically, like most games, it's fairly battleship heavy, let's say. Now we've got middle spawn here with our division mates, so what I'm actually going to do here is go south, because on middle spawn on this map, it's pretty annoying. You've got this absolutely gigantic island in the way, which really means you have to pick which side you're moving to. Now this game's not gonna. None of these games this video are actually gonna be the best damage games. I did try to put this video on hold a bit. You might be watching this on a Monday, which I normally upload on Sunday, but I was just trying to get extra footage for this ship, and well, it's not been very kind to me recently. I still like it. I think this ship's pretty good. I think it's on par with the King George V. Maybe slightly worse in some things. But yeah, it's been rough. It's been rough. We're going to take an auto-aim shot here on Queen Elizabeth. Just see if we can do any damage to him here. So I'm already kind of regretting my decision to go to the south here because this Fiji is going to show himself. We got 6k on that Queen Elizabeth there. Now I'm pretty much in the perfect position here. I've got the island. However, I don't notice. You can see it there. He's already slowed down and he's already starting to turn in before I even shoot. So I do not apply nearly the correct aim there, and so I'm not going to hit him at all. Although he's already getting mowed down by the rest of our team, and he's charging fairly recklessly, so he's not really going to last particularly long. But the most of the damage we're going to get this game are from these guys. These 3 battleships down here who are essentially just going to start AP farming. Our div mate Brandon there, he got a very nice salvo into a Heinrich there. He got something in between 0 and fuck all. So, unlucky. This German battleships for you, they can be trolly sometimes. Now this game, it's not going to last long. This game's a pretty short one, but we do still manage to rack up a decent amount of damage. I think if this game went on a bit longer and the enemies didn't die so quickly, we could have easily cracked. Well, we would have just done more damage than we did here. We've got about 2 15k chunks here in the last 2 salvos. Yeah, funnily enough, AP does very good against broadside ships. Now Duke's AP is no exception, obviously. Obviously you should load HE in a Duke of York when it's appropriate, because your HE is still very good. And King George V, same applies to the AP, because your AP can still do things. We're going to intentionally aim high and a bit forwards here, try and hit his superstructure, maybe his upper belt, and we do. We get 7 pens there. Not as much damage as you'd expect from 7 pens, but we do take out turrets, so I guess I can't complain. I'm going to take another shot here, and this is hopefully going to finish off the enemy on the dispersion. The dispersion on the ship, again, can be a bit trolly like King George V. Although, it doesn't exactly feel like it, but the dispersion on this ship is... Well, this is literally the most accurate battleship at Tier 6. It's tied with other ships like the Nelson, and I think the Collingwood as well. So, luckily, even though your guns may only be 14-inch, which, it's not terrible. There are certainly ships that this do with, well, smaller guns than that. Scharnhorst. Now, we get 11,000 here on the Heinrich. Pretty nice. Surprisingly, that Fiji's still alive, but I don't think I'm going to take a shot at him here. Where are we? I can't even remember anymore. I think we decided not to. Because, well, our division mate is doing... Well, Brandon's doing what he normally likes to do, which is... Well, he's a bit reckless sometimes, let's just put it that way. So, we've got... I mean, I just want to point out something. It's been just over 5 minutes here, and the enemy's got 4 ships left. They lose, like, 2 more ships, and they just lose all of their points. We get some really good dispersion about Scharnhorst, by the way. You get a nice 11k, not too shabby. So one thing I do have to say for Duke of York, you do kind of have to rely on the matchmaking. You have to rely on being downed to really get some good damage in. You get tier 7, I mean, it's pretty much over for you already. Your guns really aren't going to damage anything. Your armor's not going to be nearly good enough to withstand any kind of abuse from tier 7 ships. We aim up here on the Nagato. I can't even remember how much damage that was. That was about 3,000 or something, I think. Not exactly the best. Scharnhorst's actually going to come around flat broadside here, so we're just going to take the opportunity. We think he's going to turn out here, or he's going to turn in, and he actually, I think he can, no, he's just going to sail. He's going to sail in a straight line, so we get another nice 16.7k there. Brandon is, he's going to hit 2 torpedoes on the Scharnhorst here, so that's just going to kill him, really. He's going to kill him with a flood. Nice. And that just leaves the Nagato and an enemy destroyer, which has never even been spotted. I think he might have just been AFK this entire game, I can't quite remember. We again, we aim high, we get 8k. Actually, no, that destroyer isn't AFK because he just killed Brandon, because Brandon loves eating torpedoes. He does it a lot, by the way. Now, purely because of the powder point system in this game works, we kill this Nagato and the game ends, because you lose 60 points for losing a battleship. I can never pronounce the T in battleship correctly. I don't know why. Don't ask. So yeah, we killed the Nagato and the game is over. So not but the best, but we do manage to do 105,000 damage there, so that's at least something. Again, as I said before, we didn't exactly get the best results here. We got third on the team, so not great, but well, we are back again here on the map Crash Zone. This is, well, this is another down tier, as I said. This is really tier 5 unit. That's how you're going to get the best results out of Duke of York. 2 destroyers per team, and also a carrier. Now, luckily the carrier is tier 5, so we can do something against its planes as long as our AA doesn't get destroyed, which it kind of will. I've spawned with an allied Algeria who's going to... Well, let's just say he's got a pair, okay? He's got a pair. He's going to get spanked hard, but he's actually going to live. He's actually going to survive, I think. We've also got a guider. He's going to do... no offense to him, he's going to do nothing, and he's going to play terribly. Classic enemy carrier, he's just sailing through the map, so he's just spotted us from 10k away. So that's already put us at a disadvantage, because by now I'd still be unspotted if it wasn't for that meddling carrier, and I'd still be making my way north. Luckily, I don't think anyone decides to take a shot at us, though. The California does turn up, and he actually shoots that Algeria that I was talking about. This California's camo the spider way, I'm not really sure what it is. He just is. He does some pretty decent damage to our Algeria. We take a shot, but he slows down, so that shot's a bit sloppy there, but because of the good pen angles, we still managed to get 11k. Now, sometimes with Duke of York, again, I say this a third time, again, tier 5s are really going to be where the ship shines, because in tier 7, your guns don't necessarily do a lot. I mean, they're not, say, Odin levels of bad guns, but these guns slap tier 5s like there's no tomorrow. I mean, I'm going to get a nice 14k on him, but, well, mind you, he's broadside. And that's where we spot the enemy Cheshire. A pretty rare ship. I'm imagining if he's playing with Cheshire, he's probably got it from a crate at some point, because I don't really see anyone playing with Cheshire voluntarily. Let's put it that way. We're going to take a shot, hope for the best. He slows down. We expected him to slow down, which is why we shot so far back, but we don't actually apply quite enough, well, we apply too much lead there, so we don't really hit the step on a citadel, but we still do manage to get two citadels, and we take him down to pretty low health here. Now, I do believe I contemplate shooting the Pensacola here, but the presence of the enemy Fubuki decides that, well, I'm not going to do that. Which I kind of regret, because as I expect by sonar here, we're going to get some good damage on the Fubuki, but this guy's going to die anyway. He's getting absolutely mauled here. And honestly, there wasn't a lot of point in me shooting him, and I probably should have shot the Pensacola in hindsight, because that Pensacola is going to become a very annoying little bugger later in this game. Hint, hint, hint. He fires high explosive a lot. So that kind of funnel is already on low health. I think he's got talked by the guider. But also there's a mysterious smoke screens popped up there, and because there's only one ship on the enemy team even capable of setting a smoke screen, we know it's the I forgot what the name of the enemy destroyer was. Tier 5 Russian one, Yevny, that's it. And the enemy North Carolina turns up here. He gets some of that trolly North Carolina dispersion here. Our guider, I believe, has white line V torpedoes, which means he's actually not going to hit any of them, because he's a bit of a doofus. As if it wasn't obvious that California was going to start reversing. Now again, I'm showing a bit too much angle to the North Carolina here. If he shoots me now, he's probably going to get some good damage. But I'm almost willing to take it to try and kill this California, because I'm still on max health. No one shot at me yet, which is surprising. Apart from that North Carolina who did, and well, he missed. But speaking of that North Carolina, he's been hit by, I think, our allied Tennessee, and he's got the vast majority of his health just whisked away from him in quick succession. Now, we already know we're not going to bounce his shells at this angle, so we just open up anyway. He does, of course, get a very nice hit onto us. And our Tennessee kills him just before we do. Enemy Yevny turns up here, and he's also torqued us, so we're going to eat two of these. So that's not exactly preferable. We've just gone from max health to less than half in a span of about 20 seconds. But we're confident here. This our allied guider. He's got clear shots on the Yevny, and surely a guider can, you know, win a gunfight with Yevny, right, guys? Spoiler alert: he doesn't. And not only does he not, he dies whilst simultaneously somehow managing to do pretty much no damage to Yevny at all. We're just going to take a shot at Pensacola here. This is the moment where he's going to start being a little bit annoying. And also this is where the emergency specialist skill is actually going to come in quite handy here. Our guider does, he's a professional carrier torpedo, so he's going to start eating carrier torpedoes, and he will not stop. Speaking of carrier, enemy carriers turned up here. Pensacola just double fires us immediately, so we're putting that out because we're not having it. Tennessee gets another massive salvo there. Very good job to this Tennessee, by the way. Still manages to get into statistics and make it work. We get one shell hit there, and we get the citadel on the Vaser. We fire the rear turret here, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough to kill him before our guider dies to carrier torpedoes. So I give him the old nice work there for. Honestly, it's impressive how you are that bad at the guess. Sorry, I really shouldn't be saying this. It kind of impresses me how you can die that quickly and lose a gunfight to Yevny. Anyways, that Pensacola set us on fire again. Which, well, could be worse. He's going to be contributing to our Dreadnought medal this game, so I'm not going to complain too much. As I'm turning in here, because obviously I don't want to push Yevny, and we're just going to shoot the Pensacola, and I think I'm going to kill him here. I'm just going to put out the remaining fires, and hope he doesn't set one with that last sniper, which luckily he doesn't, and I do kill the Pensacola. Also back receives the carrier, and you know what carrier players are like, you know, is they see a ship with low health. They've got to go for the ship with low health. Of course, Good thing about Duke of York and King George V here, because their citadels are so far below the waterline, getting citadeled by AP bombs is pretty much impossible. It just doesn't happen, really. Citadeling a Duke of York and King George V as a whole is pretty much impossible, but especially with AP bombs. I don't think it's ever happened to me. It might have happened to me once with like a 10-kilometer high drop from I think it was a Zeppelin. Now we're just going to grab the cap here. I don't think we're going to do any more damage before this game ends here, so actually no, I think we are. We're going to actually do a bit more damage on Nievny here. I think we landed an HE shell on him, but that's it. So we've just cut forward a bit here. The enemy carrier has died, and meanwhile he got torped by our Ryujo, I think. And, oh wait, no, that's our Arjuri. Our Arjuri does, unfortunately, die to this Nievny here, despite. Well, he survived a very long time with the amount of health he had. We just estimate roughly where this Nievny's going, we take a pot shot at him. Surprisingly, that's only one shell hit, but it's enough to just barely scratch us the high caliber there. He's set smoke, and we're not going to be doing any more damage to him before this game ends here, unfortunately. Now, the Nievny does turn up here. Unfortunately, bad turret angles, and I do kind of hesitate with the shot here, means that we're actually going to reach 1,000 points before I even get to land these shells. But we do manage to pick up our Dreadnought for this game, so that's something, I guess. Again, I'll reiterate, not exactly the best damage. I'm going to reach 30 there actually on the campaign. Second place, again, very good job to our Tennessee there. It's not easy to make the Tennessee work, especially in a tier 6 game. 99,000 damage for the tier 6 Duke of York. So the tier 6 Duke of York, is she good or nah? Well, yeah, she's a pretty good ship. I think she's highly underrated. But I would go out and say, well, ships in this game are quite expensive, especially at tier 6. If you have King George V, honestly, I wouldn't actually recommend buying Duke of York. If you're that interested in famous naval history and whatnot, then you could pick her up. But honestly, the only really time you should, I'd say you should really own this ship is if you're really just that much of a history geek, or if you just get this ship from a crate. But if you do get the ship from a crate, be happy. It's a pretty good ship. It is a bit of an oddball. It's slightly different from the rest of the UK battleships. But well, that's Duke of York for you. I hope you all enjoyed. Like and subscribe, usual things. Toodaloo, au revoir, bye bye.